Hello out there in TV land, and welcome for another riveting edition of AGI, Anthony and Greg on Intelligence. I'm Anthony Moggio, and with me, as always, is Greg St. Patrick Prost.
I thought you were going to call me the leprechaun, man.
Well, maybe that was going to be the next one.
I'll take St. Patrick, although I don't need neither one of us.
I have no
Our
green
logo's
on.
got some sort
Yeah,
of...
we have green in the room. There we go. We have green on the display. We'll go with it for St. Patrick's Day today, so it'll be fine. I won't worry about it. So, viewers, today we have a few updates and things we want to talk about, one of which is security. And, Greg, I got to tell you, this has been driving me absolutely nuts. I know you are on social media so much at all times. Yeah, right. And
None. Zero.
on zero, yeah, you're on zero of them. And I just want to point out to all the viewers, right, we've talked about it before, the risk on the cybersecurity and the deep fakes and all this stuff, but it is, I would say, alarming to me at the amount of AI-generated things, and it's AI-generated in two senses. Okay, this is what I found, and I don't know the reason why yet. I probably could ask AI why they're doing it this way, but, maybe for next time. So we'll just opine on this. So one of them is they have, just the deep fake style videos, okay? And it'll involve either real people, it could be something political, as of the war now, as an example. It could be something as simple as the one I just saw the other day was, it was somebody took Walmart and they said, hey, look, Walmart's rolling out a brand new buffet. And so,
That's a good idea.
So you got this video of this long, it's inside Walmart. They got the shirts, everything there. And you got this long buffet line that goes to the checkout station, right? And the people are absolutely, they're arguing among each other about it. And the joke of it is they aren't arguing about if it's AI or not. They're arguing about whether Walmart did this yet or not at their Walmart by them. Yeah. And I'm reading these comments, and I'm like, you guys.
These are simple ones, right? Netanyahu put out a little video that's being questioned pretty hard, and it's getting to a point where, can you really trust anything, right? So
you can trust nothing.
We're at that point. That's the problem.
Yes.
6 months ago, you were getting maybe a sixth finger on the hand, that kind of thing. I think it's a lot better now, and especially the videos are aggressively good.
Oh, they are very well. The 3D spatial keeping of them is phenomenal. Even as the camera pans back and forth, it remembers where it put certain things as it's panning, which is phenomenal on the 3D spatial recognition inside. And the continuity.
Shadows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all of it.
It's amazing.
I mean, you're pretty much down to the finer details, the skin colors aren't quite, they're too uniform. They're not as, there's you're starting to get less and less, and that's the nature of it.
Yeah.
It just, whatever you can tell now to make it fake, it will figure that out and then fix it, and now it won't be there anymore.
It'll put goosebumps on people's arms and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? It's just taken up to the next level, and that's just computing speed. It knows it needs to do that. Yeah. Right? To make it perfect, I know I need to have the sheen. I need to have all the oils on the skin. I need to do
in
all
the lighting,
these things.
I need to have shiny in certain spots, shiny not on. Yes.
All of it, right? And so it knows how to do that. It just isn't wasting that much computing speed. So the Will Smith, spaghetti eating all the way up to spaghetti eating now. And when it got really good, you're like, this is almost perfect. And then I saw one, I don't know, a month ago that was compared to the one that was 6 months prior that I thought was almost perfect. And the new one, you're like, oh, that's more perfect. Now I see what it's doing, and it had to do things like that. It had blemishes or whatever it is, right? Amazing. And that's why people are like, oh yeah, well, it won't be able to. No, it knows to do that. It's just doesn't have the computing speed. Now it does.
Yeah.
Ethan Malik, shoot, I'm forgetting what his blog is called. Ethan Mollick, he's a professor. He writes just one of the best blogs out there. But early on, he was doing, I can't remember exactly what he was asking about. He was asking about a beaver. Make me a beaver riding on an airplane kind of a video. And actually, I think he started with the pictures, and then the pictures got perfect. So then he moved on to video. And so the latest video is the beaver is actually talking, saying something, and the mouth moves, perfectly as he's speaking like a human being, So took it up a notch from make it realistic, now make it supra realistic, make it speak like a human and stand up and move its hand around and things like that. It's just pretty amazing how all the little steps, and it's in 2 years, 2+ years. It's crazy. But yes, so all these things are hitting at the same time, right?
Yes.
We got this whole. We're going to talk about agents and the coding that we're doing. That's this massive leap that's just occurred. But at the same time, all these other things are hitting 100% PhD level. Video, now you can run it for 60 seconds instead of 8 seconds, and it's even better quality. So goes to 5 minutes, goes to an hour, goes to that kind of thing. Crazy time where we're hitting this inflection point. So yes, what's real, what's not real.
Yep.
And so if you can't believe anything, and there's lots of articles about this, and science fiction, for years have talked about these kinds of things, right? 1984 and the whole 9 yards. What's real? How do you control the masses and all that? So you got all kinds of conspiracy theories that have been going around for all these time periods up to this point that shouldn't have shown up. We talk about flat earthers, right? How crazy is that, or, birds aren't real or whatever. Some of this really crazy stuff that gets this traction to it, and okay, now what's just about to happen? What are we going to see where the first real true argument with your colleagues over a video?
Yeah. That,
I don't think that's true. They think it's true, but it's so earth-changing of a video, you're either on one side or the other, right? That's, I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to have to watermark our entire life. You just walk around with a little watermark on your forehead or something that identifies you.
I'm not sure on the watermark side of things, but
I can handle that for you.
You're at a point, and even past it, I would think, for the average person, but even those in it, you're at this past the point now where your default has to be the skepticism side, right? So you have to just default with this, whatever I'm seeing.
I'm not going to respond to anything. Those people are embarrassed that they respond to that. Don't respond to anything until you're sure, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So, you're going to need to just understand that everything is basically fake, and it is amazing, just watching people argue about it. And then, so ignoring the Walmart video, which obviously is not much of a thing. I'm not sure they have buffets there, but that would be interesting. Maybe they could, it got a lot of likes, so maybe.
People of Walmart at the buffet, a new category.
Oh, we could have that one too.
Yes.
That could be its own one there. But yeah, the video. I mean, it was just nuts. And the other one, and this is what I mean when I say I'm not quite sure what the angle is. So these, I'm going to call them the bots. I'm going to use the old term. So these, they're probably AI tools, but we'll say the bots, the non-people controlled things, are making posts about asking questions about or wanting to solicit comments. So I'll give you an example. One I saw earlier today, it is very much an AI generated image of a hole in a roof. This is not an actual hole in the roof. And they're asking I just saw this on my roof, on my house the other day. What do you guys think? And then people are commenting about here's some handyman numbers, here's some whatever. And I'm looking at it going, why are you doing this? What's the purpose of this? Right. And I haven't been able, because there's a lot of these, right?
So where's the bot? On Facebook?
Yeah. And pick a social media platform.
Okay.
Could be on
I know
X,
there's lots of bots on those.
Could be on any of them.
I didn't realize I thought they were just kind of monitoring things and maybe interacting
they're
or putting
posting.
out propaganda, to a certain extent. But why
Holes
would
in
they?
roofs for whatever reason. I'm not sure. And then, another one it's oftentimes on a car. So they'll be like, hey, my car's making this weird noise, and it's got like an image of another AI generated one of, I don't know, the engine or something. And half the time the parts don't, like, they're not even real parts. Like it's a complete, like, real AI generated engine. Like it's not an actual engine. And you look, you're like, that doesn't even work like that. Like, what is this? And there's no links to click.
That's kind of funny, actually.
It's really weird. And then
like a mechanic going, "Why? Let me try and well, your timing. You don't have a timing belt, whatever."
and it's even weirder than that. Okay, if you thought that wasn't weird enough, it's not all, but a lot of the people responding are also bots.
Yeah, well.
So now I'm not trying to go into the dead internet theory here, okay? I'm not trying to dive into that as a topic for today, for today's discussion.
Yeah.
But dead internet theory, there's no one actually on the internet. It's all just a bunch of AI robots talking to each other. There's really no people at all.
Or if everybody has their agents talking to each other, right? Then 99.9% of it will be, right?
Yeah. 99.99. So and then you look at these comments, you're like, what in the world? I don't even know. But I was thinking
you were trying to pull it up.
I think this might be okay. So we always love trying new things on the show because we never have issues when we try to do new stuff live,
right.
and we make it that way on purpose.
Yeah.
Why perfect anything? Watch and suffer with us on this one. So we were talking about the Will Smith AI version here, and I hope there's not sound. Okay, good. So here's him eating spaghetti. So this is the old version, 2023. So you can see how the faces are messed up. We're getting into 24. It's not really realistic. Oh, but now look, we're in 25. This is looking much better. Noodles are not flopping all over the place. Things are getting normal. So here's the current version now. And of course they're talking. So if you look this up yourself, you'll find, them having a conversation, all AI generated. You can see they're playing with the food. They're picking it up. Very easy consistency. Look at the background, the sky drop, or whatever it is in the back. You're looking at you still got some weird discolorations on the consistency with the lighting. You don't have the oiliness on the skin necessarily like you would on us when we're doing it. So you can see just like, and this wasn't even a joke, the early one in 23. That was literally, you asked it to make a video and that's what it did. Like that was just how it is. And the thing, you see just over, so that was what? That was the end of 23, or 2023. And so you got 3 years, and all of a sudden now we are in a time where you're not really able to tell as easily. And what I think people...
And sound, huge thing.
Oh, you can.
And linking up to the mouth and all that stuff, right?
The lip syncing is perfect.
Yep.
Even watching typing, if they're typing, the sound is as the fingers are hitting. It is remarkable. And the thing, I'm pretty sure people don't necessarily keep up with this stuff, right? So they're looking at these old images of the spaghetti video, or even just making
or even a third arm,
extra
or
arms,
right,
or hands, exactly. And they're remembering that as that's AI.
Yeah.
And what they fail to remember is it's evolving, and I'm going to say evolving because that's the word.
It is the word.
And it's getting so much better so quicker that they're like, oh, I can tell if there's an AI video. You could really tell in 23. You could tell pretty good in 24. 25 is getting a little bit better. And nowadays, the ones they're generating now, they're ultra realistic 8K high resolution generations. And those are the ones we can play with. Right? I mean, on a $20 subscription, there's some high-end models that you talk about. There's one for making cinematic movies. Yeah. And you create characters in the AI, so it knows when it uses that character, these are the features of the character, here's what it looks like.
Yep.
And you can make full cinematic, I think like 15, 20-minute videos. And the longer you go out, it still gets a little wonky as you go to like 30 minutes.
Give it 6 months.
And once again, that's the ones that we're using, right? If you had your own dedicated data center of servers running the computations on this stuff, it's not going to.
And again, it knows exactly what to do.
Yes.
It knows how to make vapor come out of your mouth as you speak, and every once in a while a little bit of spittle or whatever. It knows that. It just isn't wasting the computing power. It doesn't have quite enough, but it just keeps getting closer. I find that. And so that's part of it too. Like, people are like, oh yeah, it made a mistake. A year ago I tried it. It made a mistake. It's like, how are you not trying it today? How are you not paying attention knowing that it keeps getting better? I find that crazy.
Maybe every couple months a new version comes out for each of them?
Lately, it's been more. I saw something they were talking about Anthropic and Claude, and we're going to talk about Claude here in a minute, but said the last 70 days, it seemed like every 5-6 days they were like a new version, different thing, an add-on, that kind of thing. So they're all trying to keep up, and it's speeding up faster, right?
We're on programming itself now.
We're on
That's the difference, right?
Right.
You don't need to test it and run it. I mean,
yes,
it's just creating its own code for itself.
So again, one of these, wake up people moments that both OpenAI and Anthropic said that their latest versions of their systems were built completely by AI. I'm sure they're guiding it to a certain extent, but they're saying all the code was written by AI. First time ever. All right. What happens next? Well, it's going to write its own code to write its own, that kind of thing. So you've just reached these plateaus. It's just within the past, since the beginning of the year, really, just absolutely amazing. It really is.
I think it's, which one's doing it? Google's doing a lot. They're releasing to the general research community, right? Like use our tools for research. Please.
Well, like the AlphaFold and DeepMind stuff.
All the Alpha, Alpha Zero and Alpha. There's like a bunch of alphas with all, So
I'll a tangent here. I don't know if you heard about this, but an Australian guy, his dog had cancer. They had chemo, had surgery, kept growing, couldn't stop it. He talked to AI. AI told him to have the DNA sequenced, and maybe it could help him. DNA sequenced. He got Google DeepMind, had AlphaFold check to see if they could find a marker, something different. They found it. They made incorporated. People were helping him out, but they turned it into an mRNA vaccine, gave it to the dog, and cured the cancer. That's just crazy.
And this is the stuff that, even listening to it, I have two initial thoughts. One, that's an AI made up story. Yeah. But then I also know enough as we live and breathe this AI world to know that, that is a completely plausible thing that actually is not made. Could absolutely happen.
So people who don't know, AlphaFold, so DeepMind, Google owns DeepMind. DeepMind was one of the first AI companies out there. I think a lot of those people, are part of all these other AI companies right now. And what they sicked it on protein folding. Don't even understand it completely, but there's just a gabillion ways that proteins can collapse into different structures. And so they sicked AlphaFold, and they built a machine learning program just to specifically solve this problem. And they thought, there's just so many iterations, it'll never be able to solve it. It's going to take 100 years, and they did it. And it's a huge leap into, I think they're trying to find the things that fit, and if they fit right, you can make things and do wonderful things, right? I don't understand it. No, I'm sure, it's only AI understands it, right?
You're right on. That's the thing, the proton torpedoes, protein folding, right? Because so here's another topic. Okay, here, insert use case, right here. Yeah. The thing's happening with the protein folding. So I go on my AI tool and I say, teach me. I turn on teach mode. I go, what is the deal with protein folding, and why is everyone making such a big deal about it? And long story short, from what I can regurgitate from this conversation, and what makes that part so cool is the way they fold will determine how it interacts with, like, say, different drugs and treatments.
Yeah.
So if they know how it's folding, and there's doctors out there that are like, you know so much about nothing that this, like, I'll get an F on my paper if I turn this in, probably in med school here. But that by knowing how the folding is, they can pair it up and make target drugs that will bind and interact with that.
Exactly.
So if they fold wrong, you can get tumors and cancers out of it. And so that's why figuring out this protein folding opens up. And it's not, the protein isn't like the single only thing that causes diseases in medicines only. Right. Like, there's a lot of stuff that isn't related to protein folding, but there's a lot that is.
Right.
Like, a lot.
Right.
And they used to spend, their doctors, when they were in med school, they'd spend their entire they'd spend a whole, thesis for one protein to figure out how that works.
Yeah.
And now it's doing hundreds of millions of them, and now they refined it, and they got this, and that was what you're saying, they got this new refined protein folding program from AlphaFold for the proteins, and they're like hitting it hard, and they're giving it to the research community.
Yep.
Now it takes time for drugs to, like, even if they know right now, I know how to target this, you still got trials, and all the same steps still have to follow. So even though you're getting to an answer quicker, you still have the 5 years before you see it on a shelf.
And even that was what the guy said. Hey, it was longer through the approval process. Took longer than getting to this point to start with. Fortunately, it was a dog, so obviously they can speed it. Yeah, they can speed that process up to a certain extent. But yeah, no, just people being able to press the system hard, right? You know, hey, I know this is out here. AI just told me I'm smarter now. Let's see if we can figure this out.
And what does that look like in the community, right? Like, you talk about the impact of having this kind of knowledge and ability to figure things out. And it's, I'll say, not yet is it going to have the cure for everything under the sun. But some of these things, when it is figuring new ones out, has figured them out. It's like, it's figured out.
And
it's figured out.
And just to tell you how archaic the system can be all by itself, right? Yeah, we're at this advancement level way out here. We're curing cancers. We really are. It's just slow, right? Now going through the slog and changing the way they kind of come at these things, but it's been inestimably promising. But
vaccines for COVID, we spit that crap out in like 90 days, right?
But it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't been using the mRNA vaccines prior to that, right? And AI was kind of
fair.
But so
let's use that same process though for some of these. If you can cure this stuff,
look, man, I just had a doctor appointment, right? So everything's fine. I'm talking to my doctor. Let's have a little conversation about AI. He knows I'm the AI guy as I come in, and
I'm sure he loves
we've
this.
Talked about this before, right? So we had a little conversation.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure he loves yours.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, hey, I know two people close to me that have had trouble with they put the drugs in, all the different drugs that they're taking into AI, and AI spit out, hey, this is a problem. This is why you're feeling lethargic. This is dangerous. And both of them went into their doctors, and instantaneously the doctors said, get off of what you're on. We're going to, they reacted to it aggressively. They knew something was wrong and that they had done something wrong to a certain extent. So I'm talking to my doctor, and I said, how do you explain this? This doesn't even make any sense. You guys have all these systems, and then here's two. I'm sure this is happening all the time, and you're going to get sued on this. It's going to say, hey, AI knows this. How come you're not checking AI? And he said, were the drugs administered from somebody else, like a cardiologist or, I said, yeah, one was a cardiologist, one was a specialist and a throat specialist. And he goes, yeah, their systems aren't linked up to our systems, so we wouldn't catch it. I would catch it if I gave it to you. The Corewell Health system would catch it, right? But if they're not part of that system, it's not going to catch it. And so I'm looking at them like, exactly. So I'm going to use AI. This is insane. This is your answer to me. Hey, yeah, they might kill you. I'm sorry, but I can't really do anything because they're not on the same system. Well, that's why people are going to use AI. And AI is going to walk into your doctor and go, hey, they're going to tell you, hey, there's a chance they're not on the same system. You want me to run all your drugs for you? Yeah, please do. And it's going to say, this is crazy. And then you're going to walk into your doctor and demand this. And your doctor's going to say, yeah, but AI might not give you the right answer all the time. Well, on this one it did, so I'm going to keep using it, So I was so surprised. He's like, yeah, well, it just kind of happens. I'm like, dude, shouldn't happen. So you should be telling your clients, put all your drugs, all the drugs you're taking, because I can't see all of them, put it all into AI. You just take a picture of the bottles, drop it all into AI, and it'll give you an answer. Of course, do you want to drop your personal stuff into AI and blah, 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 right? Well, if it's killing you, you might want to, right? Well, anyway, I was just more shocked at the
and that's so
answer.
Amazing to me, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if it's just the amount of the schooling, how long it takes, the testing. I mean, it's rigorous, right? Not anyone can be a doctor. I mean, it's a legit hard.
They're impressive people.
I don't know there's anything harder to get than that, and then go into the specialties and how many years they have to. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I think some of the specialties you're like 50 before you can actually, start doing brain neurosurgery and whatever. Anyway, so, but what's amazing to me is, I would think if that was me, and we talk about this so much, it just makes you better. So it's going to take you with your regular practice that you have, and it just makes you better.
Absolutely.
And it makes and you go the Hippocratic Oath, and the whole point is to make people better. That's I don't know any doctor that went into it for money only, right? They want to help people and make them healthy and get better and have the money.
Have you met a chiropractor? That's not fair because that's... Anyway,
yes, and so you want all of these things, and it's working. And the same thing as we demonstrated with the video, right? Like, well, maybe medical advice probably follows that same path, right? You ask it back, it'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know, take Tylenol for your cancer. Like, you're like, what? Yeah. But as it gets better and better, and more data, more information, more data, more training, and now training itself, you're just going to get to a point where it will just consistently be better.
Yes.
And so now you just need, the doctors are basically supervisors, right?
Yep.
They'll hopefully catch the hallucination or use their knowledge to go, yeah, that does make sense. There's no harm in that. Let's give that a shot and see if that works, and kind of that different facilitator kind of role.
And we're going to talk about this second half, but we're using it at work all the time. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's making me so much smarter. It's teaching me things. I guess that's what you got to
protein
be
folding,
like, right? Yeah, but I meant even on my specialty, right?
Yeah,
like you're making me smarter on things that I thought I was pretty smart along with. So I think that's the kind of attitude you have to have here. Like, just teach me. You're smarter than I am. Like, help me along. And there's some things that, no, hey, here you're going down the wrong path. Here's where you need to go. And you can put your expertise in there every once in a while. It really, you do need an adult in the room steering this stuff. And that's why younger people are really in trouble. Because not only are they not going to get hired as easily, because if AI can do the job, I'm not going to hire you, but more that I don't need somebody without any experience. The AI has a little bit of experience, but it's just junior stuff, right? It's going to be very generic. It's going to look back at everything everybody else has done. It'll throw out a bunch of great ideas, right? It gets you stimulated, but really it's always just a little bit stale, right? And so you need to massage it, and you start working out, and it'll say, of course, hey, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's explore that a little bit more, and you just get it. Anyway, if you don't have the ability to ask that question, then you're just going to get a stale answer. So,
and the human side, that's the thing that's important. I tell the young kids, I tell my kids this, I'm like, you don't understand how important it is to be able to socialize with people. Because, let's take something simple like, we're going to do a budget presentation, right? So you give the AI and it will make you a budget presentation. and they will all make you a budget presentation, and they're all making the same thing.
Yep.
But you, human side, knows the people that are receiving the message, that communication becomes important. You know that what's really important to you, council member, or you, boss, or you, board that you're presenting to, right?
Or
the AI doesn't know that.
Or the community.
Yeah. If you're hanging out and you know you're going door to door, there's things that, when you think about the information and the touch points that AI does not have access to, that's where the human side really connects the super smart stuff and gives that oversight going, you know what? We got to hit this angle and this angle and this angle. And now you have a killer document and presentation that is not just the same as all of the rest of them.
Yep.
So human touch points.
Agreed.
So important. Socialize. So.
Yeah. Everybody. Young people.
Yes, please,
get
young
out there
people.
A little bit more, please.
And COVID didn't help any, right?
No,
We lost years of that
We
with the kids. And
it's a whole nother conversation, right?
If the AIs can talk to each other, it'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll just have them do the podcast.
I just want the AI to talk to me every once in a while. So.
Hey, Greg.
Just one friend.
You don't have to queue it up. It will queue you up like, Hey, Greg, how are you doing right now?
Yeah, that's all I ask.
Friend.
Start the conversation every once in a while. Why have to start it every time, ChatGPT?
And on that social bombshell, thank you once again for joining us on another episode of AGI, Anthony and Greg on Intelligence. Stay tuned. We'll catch you at the next one.